New Earth International presents Wellness Woman with your host, Lynnis Wells-Mullins. Wellness Woman with your host, Lynnis Wells-Mullins, here on New Earth Broadcasting.
Hey, don't you all just love live? Because it's like real life. This is unscripted, unedited, totally live. And I'm Lynnis Wells-Mullins, a wellness expert and holistic living coach. And I'm here today on my last recording date of 2016. And I've said this before on my other show, What's Inside You, Mind, Body, Energy. But let me say it again. I can hardly wait for 2016 to be over. I am looking forward to 2017 because 2016 was a heck of a year. And I'm just believing in the divine and God, or if you're into pet rocks, whatever it is you're into, I'm believing that 2017 is going to be a breakthrough year, regardless of our circumstances. And let me say something about that real quickly, and then we're going to bring on someone who's just fabulous. But I really do believe that what we think about, what we continue to ponder on and pray over, truly will come to pass, no matter no matter what's going on around you. You just cannot have any doubt. You have to have complete and total faith. And I know that's easier said than done, but perhaps one of the best ways to really begin to have that faith is to listen to that inner voice, that voice that we all hear, that sometimes we listen to, a lot of times we don't. But lately, I have to tell you, listeners, I have been focusing on listening to that voice over the last 6 months or so. And when I've listened to it, it has never steered me wrong. When I haven't listened to it, let's just say it's been a hot mess. So I am moving forward in 2017, setting an intent to really learn even more so about how to increase my ability to act on that inner voice. I hear the voice. I don't always act. And I think sometimes it's because of fear. A lot of times because of fear, because usually it means going outside my comfort zone, doing something I don't normally do, addressing an issue or concern that normally I would put in the back of my emotional closet. And I can't do that anymore because my closet's so full of crap that if I try to close the door, it just bursts open anyway. So I might as well go ahead and address it. So today we have with us Abby Gouch. She is an intuition coach and a master when it comes to showing people how to monetize their intuition, which I think is just really fabulous. And I'm so glad she's here today. Welcome, Abby.
Thanks, Lynnis. Hello, everyone.
Hello. And let me run a disclaimer since we are live. I happen to have another guest that's unofficial, that's not on the camera. My grandson is hovering in the background. Right now he's exploring a box of Cheerios. Let's hope that will suffice. But in the meantime, and my listeners have met Darius before, so he may come on later and say hi. But in the meantime, Abby, tell us a little bit about you and why you're so passionate about intuition.
Thanks, Lynnis. Well, I am an intuitive teacher because I believe we all are intuitive teachers. At the very base of our beingness is our soul embodied, called our intuition. So that inner voice, that inner knowing is our connection to source, to the divine, to the universe, to God, whatever name, like you say, you want to call it. It's that really universal life force energy is what it is. And so as we listen to that, we're guided on our highest path, the one that will be of most service, of most fulfillment, bring us that happiness, prosperity, joy, all these great gifts of the universe. And what I love about what you said, Lynnis, is it really is, as we're following our intuition, that doubt just disappears. And so the doubt is actually the second guessing. It's the mind's interpretation of what's happening. But if we can remain centered in that knowing, which is actually to drop our awareness from our head into our heart, because our heart is constantly picking up the vibes, right? The energy within and around us, which gives us the ability to connect to life. And then from that inner connection of love, that centeredness, we can drop into our gut feeling, which is the home of our intuition. It's where that inner knowing is constantly guiding us with that yes that uplifts us, or that no that just says, maybe not, right? It's a knowing. It's actually not fear-based. It's a knowing. It's just this feels good or this doesn't feel good.
You know, let's talk about that a little bit because we've talked about the idea before of that gut feeling that we have. And there's more to that whole idea than just a saying, because the reality is that studies just recently in terms of popular culture, because this has been going on for a while, but popular culture now has been exposed to these studies that say that we have cells in our stomach that are very similar, if not the same, as in our brain. So it makes sense that when you talk about gut feeling, you probably are getting something that your brain is processing that's being transferred to the gut. In fact, Abby, you had said once to me that there is a direct line between the brain and the gut.
Absolutely. So there's 500 million cells in your gut. So they're constantly picking up more information. So your gut is actually bringing the information from your brain and your heart. So it's like the brainstem, right? It's the nervous system. So when you get information from your brain, it sends it to the rest of your body. And when it passes through the heart, right, it moves what I call the tunnel of love, because it's actually taking all that information from your brain, your heart, right, which is connected to everything and everyone, and then it's bringing down into your center, which is that gut feeling. So it's actually taking in all that information and then giving you feedback, which I call guidance, right, inner guidance from your gut, from that.
Right. And that's interesting, because I don't believe that your inner voice, that thing that you hear, is going to necessarily send you information that's bad for you. Usually it's trying to guide you through a challenge, through a problem, trying to get you to the other side. And many times it's your survival guide when it comes to life's journey.
Yeah, absolutely.
So tell us, what does this mean about monetizing your intuition? What does that mean?
Oh, so I actually say monetizing your gifts and using your intuition to guide you. So we all come with these amazing gifts, right? And our intuition is that inner compass, that inner guide. Mm-hmm. So the show that you have been on is called Intuition to Income, which is teaching people how to access their intuition to obviously increase their income. And so the beautiful thing about that is when you're following your intuition, you're in service. You're in service to the whole. Because once again, the steps of moving from your head to your heart to your gut encompass everything and everyone. Mm-hmm. It's not only your highest good, but it's everybody else that your energy field is affecting. So as you follow your intuition, you naturally, if that's your intention, can make more money. And especially if you're creating a business, right? So I say monetize your gifts, which is really, when I first started my school, there's all these beautiful spiritual people out there. We're all spiritual. We all have that connection, but I wanted to give them practical tools and ways to monetize it, because we all needed their gift. Mm-hmm. So I just took my life experience of starting a business at 19 and following my intuition, breaking through my blocks, the mental and emotional blocks and fears, and then the step-by-step practical guidance of setting a structure for business, which is really getting clear and focused and intentional about relationships, product development, and the ability to deliver that to people and really make a huge positive in the lives of others. So.
That's interesting, because you hear about people using intuition when it comes to the guidance of their life and their overall interest in things, but using it for business, I think, is something that's really important, and taking it all the way to using it, let's say, if you don't have your own business, but you're using it in terms of your personal finances. Because one of the things that I've heard over and over again, and I'm an amen on this, is just the, financial challenges that rose up in 2016 out of nowhere, challenges that you weren't anticipating. But if you look back at that and take a look at what led up to the challenges that you might have had financially, you probably had some warnings from your intuition. And sometimes those challenges that we have come as a result of not listening to your intuition and not listening to that inner voice and making other decisions. Because when I look back over 2016, I can definitely attribute some of my not as successful endeavors based upon not really listening to that actual voice. But I understand that you have something that's going on that's going to be really helpful to people when it comes to monetizing their intuition, being more prosperous, leading themselves down a journey to success. It's happening in January of 2017. Yeah. Tell us about that.
So it is Intuition to Income, and it's January 14th, so everybody can get free access. I don't know if you want to give them a link, but if you go to intuitiontoincomesummit.com, you can hear Lynnis and all these other amazing people. We have a couple doctors on the show, and just great information to help you really boost your self-esteem, your ability to connect with your intuition, and make the shift. So the great thing about intuition is it works with you where you are at in the moment. So regardless of what's happened in 2016, in this moment, you can actually shift. Your intuition is available right now to keep guiding you on that path. And I truly believe that path is always there, right? Sometimes we may like veer off it for a second. Maybe we learn something and then we hop back on, but it's there. We're constantly in alignment, or we have the ability to be in alignment with our highest. So to just trust that, you know, maybe you learn some things along the way. Don't beat yourself up, you know, forgive and love yourself and move in harmony with that loving guidance, you know, because it really is always there.
Are there any tips that you can give someone moving into 2017 to help increase their intuition abilities or their ability to act on that inner voice?
So what comes at first is like, it's a fresh slate, it's a fresh start. So give yourself that newness. And step into the unknown with that sense of security in being connected to your intuition. So once you feel that knowing, and everybody can drop in right now and just connect to that center point of knowingness and certainty. And so you can feel certainty within yourself, and the world, the next step may feel uncertain, but as long as you're certain, you're actually going to take that inner experience and almost project it on the outside, because it's going to radiate from you, and then it's going to draw to you what you need. So as you were talking earlier, Lynnis, it's like, you know, the financial struggles or maybe abundance, maybe having a lot, whatever it is, it's going to be a reflection of what's going on inside. So that's why I love teaching the process of intuitive success coaching, because it breaks through those blocks, right? And allows you to then be that mirror of success of what you want. So really trust that you are in control, in the sense that you can change your inner reality to experience a new outer reality. But of course, you can't control all the outside things, right? You just have your ability to change you. So that's the empowering piece, right? Is how can we shift our beliefs to come in alignment with our intuition? And then the action piece is take action from that knowingness.
Yes.
Translate, right? Into your unknown, right? You step into certainty. You step with certainty into the unknown.
You know, I really do believe that if it is within the Creator's will, what you ask for, you will receive. If you don't receive it, then ultimately from a big picture perspective, there must be something else going on that's even better for you. And you have to make that part of your reality. And we talked about not beating up on yourself. I get that. That's so important that we enter into love for ourselves so that we can receive, because loving yourself is a form of receiving. You're receiving the universe's ability to show you how to love yourself. And I know that sounds kind of woo-woo or kind of corny, but it's really true. The other thing is that if you don't really learn to love yourself, it's difficult to love anyone else. And it's also difficult to receive all the gifts. I had a demonstration today. Things have been kind of crazy the last few months. I'm not kidding with you. Taking care of my grandson off and on unexpectedly. My husband had a heart attack. Then his mother died 2 months later. Just, you know, some unexpected things happening. And through all of this, I have been adamant about the fact that there's going to be something really marvelous that's going to happen in my business before the end of 2017, before the end of 2016, because I was told that, okay? And I've had some really great things that have happened in 2016, but it's still something else. So today I had a conversation, and as it turns out, I've, you know, closed some business that I didn't know it even existed. But part of it, I believe that in spite of how crazy things are around me, I just kept pushing. And I'm telling you, when I had this phone call with her, we were disconnected 3 times on my cell phone because my cell phone has some kind of weird virus all of a sudden, okay? All of a sudden. And then I called her on Google Voice, which never disconnects. That disconnected. That's when I knew, okay, this is going to be good. And it was. So let me tell you, for those of you who are feeling like all of these obstacles are just too much for you to bear, they are not. It just means on the other side of that is something really fabulous, much even better than you could ever even realize. And I'm still believing and have total faith and no doubt that the things that I need to have done before the end of 2016 is going to happen. And I don't even know how I'm going to do all this stuff because I have this added responsibility of my grandson for a couple of days. But that's okay. There's a reason for that. And it was important to me to do the show with you, Abby, about intuition, because I really feel that for many people, that's one of the blocks. in terms of claiming their success is trusting that voice, having faith in that voice, and not doubting it.
Yeah. Yeah, that's key. I mean, I feel like being a master of your intuition is really to trust it, because it's not so hard to hear it. It's really like, I mean, it's like your heart is beating naturally, you're breathing naturally. It's the same with your intuition. It's so natural. You know, it's not hard to hear it. It's more about trusting, and honestly, it's taking action on it, because you can trust something, but if you're not acting, you're not setting the energy in motion. And oftentimes it's risk, right? I mean, like I said, I started when I was very young. I took action. There's a lot of risk, but it's almost like when you trust, you get that much more reward, because it's a faith. I think the risk is the faith piece, because when it's from that place of certainty, you know you're in alignment. And so it's part of the bigger picture for everyone.
You know, it's interesting because I think so much of the risk taking has to do with getting rid of those fears. And as my listeners know, I, suffered from an anxiety disorder for years, and I've learned how to manage it. I still get it from time to time, but there are certain things that I do that I want to share with your listeners to help me deal with that fear. The first thing that I do is I think about, okay, what's the worst thing that can happen? What's the worst that can happen? And short of losing my life, the worst that can happen, I probably have already experienced. At 59, I've gone through just about everything. So, I said, okay, fine, I've been there. Then I go ahead and allow myself to feel the total anxiety. Okay, just go ahead and feel it. This feeling, okay. And then once I go ahead and let it feel, okay, fine, I'm done with that. Then I start thinking, visualizing how I want this outcome to be. This is what I want to happen. This is what it's going to feel like. This is what is going to happen to me that's positive as a result. Then I write it down. I write it in my gratitude journal. I already declare that I'm thankful for what's going to happen, for what's happened, as if it's already happened, folks. You got to write it as if it's already happened. And then throughout the day, begin looking for those miracle signs and wonders, because they're out there. Those small little breakthroughs. Many times we discount them, but they're building blocks to that major breakthrough. And when I think about the business that closed today, I've been doing building blocks all year long for this. Now, of course, this is not the ultimate one. The ultimate one is coming later. But I needed that confirmation to know that I am on the right track. So when you get the confirmation, when you get that breakthrough, you got to celebrate.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
You got to celebrate it. You got to share it with someone who will celebrate it with you. Write it down in your gratitude journal. Thank the Creator for the blessing and keep moving forward, expecting your good. Yeah. Okay. And when negative stuff starts happening as a result of the breakthrough that's happened, because there are forces out there that don't want you to know this secret. They don't want you to know that no matter what the outer circumstances are, you can still experience joy and peace in your life. Ignore that. Keep moving forward. Understand that's just a distraction. It's a distraction. Mm-hmm. And that the bigger the distraction, the larger the manifestation of the breakthrough. And that's what I wanted to share with you with 2017 with my guest, Abby. And Abby, please, again, give them your URL so they can find out about what you do, because I know you do wonderful work with children and intuition, and you have a school. I mean, you're just fabulous. So tell them how to get in touch with you again.
Oh, you're so sweet. So I'm just going to restate the show, the Intuition to Income, because that's free to everybody. So it's intuitiontoincomesummit.com. And then for just the work I do with the school and also the orphanage, if you go to lifeforceconnection.com, you can actually get a link to Intuition to Income. And then you'll also see a link at the bottom for One Heart Global, which is the work we're doing with children. And then if you're interested in the programs or services, you can see them on the homepage, top of the nav bars, all of that. So you can just be guided to the year-long program or one-on-one. My passion is really to teach people how to use their intuition and break through their blocks around it and then monetize it. So you can monetize your gifts. You can also manifest, the most amazing life that you want. But the focus for the year-long is really on monetizing your gifts, because that's
fantastic. I love that word manifest and manifestation. And I love the word intent. And I really do believe, listeners, that you have the power within to make that change. If you want to make a change, to have a more joyful life, regardless of what is going around you. You can still have a sense of joy and peace and love for yourself, love for others, love for your world, love for your life, even though it seems like things are going to hell in a handbasket. Let me tell you that that's not the case. Go ahead, Ed.
Well, I just love that you keep bringing everybody back to intent, because we've talked a little bit about intuition marries intent. And so it's so beautiful, because when you get clear on your intent and then you use your intuition to guide you, it really is that perfect marriage. But it's like to have that clear focus that you keep bringing people back to is, what do you want to create? What will that feel like? It's actually bringing your unconscious mind on board, which is 80% of you. So 80% of us is naturally operating how we breathe, our blood, our thoughts. Like, we learn how to drive a car, we're like not really consciously being like, I'm going to put my foot on the gas and my, hands on the steering wheel. We just do it naturally. So when you're bringing the unconscious mind on board by saying, hey, where do you want to go? It's like a very smart 2-year-old saying, hey, do this, or I'm going to go from A to B. I'm going to go from San Diego to Las Vegas. You're telling the brain where to go.
Yes.
And then intuition is going to guide you. So that's just a key piece for everybody to move into 2017. Throughout the whole year to infinity, right, is to get very clear on what you want and then use your intuition to guide you. Those are the two key pieces that will bring that monetization, keeps coming through, and manifestation, right?
Fantastic.
So clear on your intent and follow your intuition.
Thank you, Abby, for those words of wisdom. It's so wonderful to have you. And I guess, listeners, I'll see you next year in 2017. But until that time, we have 2 more days left in 2016. And no matter when you might be listening to this broadcast or viewing it on video, it doesn't really matter the time frame, because time, again, can limit us. Your manifestation, your breakthrough is as close as the intent that you decide to set, and is as close to the breakthrough as you decide to visualize. So it's never too late. It's never too late to make a change in your life for the better. And once you've decided to make that change, as Abby said, be clear on it, focus on it, and every day take steps towards that, no matter what's going on in the outside. I know, because you're talking about someone that's been doing baby steps for 7 years. So I can tell you that it is worth it. And many times the breakthroughs that we're expecting aren't necessarily how we thought they would come. So be looking, because they're everywhere. They come in different guises. I just experienced breakthrough today. And here's another one, guys. We can celebrate this right now. We got through our broadcast, and there's been no major catastrophes. My 2-year-old is eating his Cheerios and watching Sesame Street silently. So, see?
Yep, it's funny. We were talking about One Heart Global. I'm like, I love kids. Of course I want your kid. Like, come say hi, and it's great. Like, we mentioned the site, and he's all peaceful.
Yeah, he's all peaceful. Well, I have people praying right now that we could get through this broadcast without any technological stuff and without any 2-year-old breaks. So we were lucky. So thanks so much, Abby, for being with us. And thank you to all of you. And let me say thank you, a heartfelt thank you to Rachel Love, my producer and the owner of this wonderful New Earth International Network, which is on television and radio and the internet. Please go to her website, newearthinternational.com.tv.net. Google New Earth International, and you will find all her different shows. She is a supporter of women-owned businesses, and she wants to see all of us succeed. And I just want to say publicly, thank you, Rachel, for supporting me and believing in me. I love you. You're such a wonderful, warm spirit in this life, and I'm fortunate to know you. And I'm fortunate to have all of you to be listening to this podcast. Thanks so much. My name is Lynnis, and I am a holistic wellness expert, and I'll see you again next time.
Bye.
You've been watching Wellness Woman here on New Earth International. See you next week.